now live.
What's up, guys?
Ooh, Bigos, how we doing? Good to see y'all. Instagram, YouTube, rep.
A couple of weeks ago, we put a question out about nutrition for BJJ and asked you guys if you had any questions. We were inundated with questions on our stories and also on the post that we made on Instagram. We only answered the ones in the stories, so today we're going to answer the comments on the post. So for all of you out there who have kept waiting, you probably went and got solutions. But anyway, here we go.
Okay, number one cab off the rank. Snacks on top of meals, yay or nay? For an active person, it's actually from Ash.
Yes, I think snacks, depending on where you're at with body composition, if you are in a position where you're not trying to lose weight, maybe you're trying to just stay where you are and fuel your training or gain weight, snacks are perfect.
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to lose weight, don't snack.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And also the person who asked the question is a very active man, so
snack.
It works, go for the snacks. Question 2 is carb cycling. It comes from Kieran. Agree or disagree, carb cycling for BJJ?
What are we talking about with carb cycling?
So with carb cycling, I guess what Kieran is talking about is, he's saying like, is it worthwhile me having like higher carb times, lower carb times, and like...
So like being selective about when you eat carbs relevant to your training?
Yes, I believe so.
I personally think it's fishing into the details too much. I think if you're a very precision person with nutrition and with these kinds of things and you like to geek out, then it could totally work for you. But I think if you're more like me, where I don't really want to think about it too much and I like to do the same thing most days, then I wouldn't fuck with it because I'd just mess it up.
Yeah, well, and look, I think the thing that we probably don't account for, because like Kieran asked this question and Kieran is like a detailed man when it comes to nutrition, he's also very focused on body composition. If you're just trying to have enough energy to run your day and do jiu-jitsu,
Kieran's got big biceps. I just wanted to exemplify that for you guys.
That's right, just to make the connection. Also flex. What I'd say is like the big mistake most people make is they actually don't include enough carbohydrates in their diet. Like most people doing jiu-jitsu will eat, I've got to eat heaps of protein. Protein is great, but jiu-jitsu is a carb-heavy activity, so you've got to make sure that you are definitely eating enough carbohydrate leading into your jiu-jitsu session at least. That's what I would say.
100.
Cool. Number 3 is meal timing important? This is coming from John Tang, shout out. And like, so when I'm timing what I'm eating, when I'm eating it, and what is the window? So for example, if we consider it important, what is the window post-training? Now, I read a bunch of research on this that's saying that the original like idea of 90 minutes or 2 hours directly after training is a little bit, like it's not false, but what you should know is like all those enzymes in your liver and everywhere else in your muscles that are like, give me nutrition, stay very active and like open for like 12 hours post-training. So provided you get adequate nutrition in after the training, that's the main thing. The sooner you can do it, the better, because the recovery cycle, you'll go from broken down to repairing sooner. But if you can't eat straight away after training, you've got to wait more than 2 hours to get home or do what you do. As long as you get the good food in post-training, whenever you do it, that's the main thing.
I totally agree. And if we look at like the evidence of fasting, where with fasting, it's shown that there's been benefits to muscle growth and to strength gains by training in the morning and staying fasted and then eating later in the day, which kind of is in complete contrast.
Yeah, counterintuitive, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, the big takeaway is it doesn't matter that much. What's important is that you are fueling, like over the day or over the week, you are fueling adequately and you are training consistently.
Yeah, agreed. Number 4, now it gets complicated. And now this question seemed more like a statement, so we'll try and get some clarity around it, but it said paleo and fasting or small meals every 2 hours. The reason why this is confusing is because it doesn't have a context. It's like, do you combine paleo and fasting if you are trying to lose weight or trying to put on muscle? Or that's what it would seem like to me. Like that combo is a tough combo.
So yeah.
Or do I eat smaller meals more regularly? So let's frame it like that. What do you think would be more appropriate?
My response is whatever works best for you.
Sure.
If paleo and fasting feels good, you perform well and you're happy, great. If you like doing small meals and that feels great, do that. But both can work.
And the little caveat I'd say on that is like, you can look at something and go, oh, that looks like a good idea. And then the reality of it is it takes a bit of work to organize, right? If you're gonna eat small meals every 2 hours, like 6-8 times across the day, you gotta prep, like you gotta organize your shit. So just so you understand, if you have a busy lifestyle, it might be really hard to organize that. So I'm just putting it out there that there is work behind all of these choices. You need to be ready for that. All right, cool. Number 5, post-workout shake, important or not?
I think kind of goes to the one a couple of questions ago. I think if you can do a post-workout shake, like it fits in with your schedule, perfect. I always would go for it if I'm training in the morning or lunchtime. But I train at night, jiu-jitsu, and so I don't fuck with the shake because I'm gonna go home and eat dinner and it's just gonna ruin my appetite.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about post-workout shake, lifting, jiu-jitsu, whatever. Like for me, I find that the sooner I can get something in my system, it helps everything kind of regulate. And everybody's different in that way, like Joey's saying.
You do a shake at night after training?
I do love a shake.
What do you have?
For me, it's generally whey protein, and I'll mix that with oat milk. I can do it with water, but it's not as much fun. Look, if it's as simple as I'm not as organized, I'll just get like a protein shake from the supermarket.
Yeah.
You know, but for me...
Musashi, muscle recovery, thick and gluggy.
Oh, it's so bad.
But do you do any carbs in it, or is it just like the liquid and the protein?
Mainly the liquid and the protein, but I mean, the thing for me is like post-training, I want to get it in. Yeah. So I might even couple that with something else as well. So it might be something as simple as if all I've got is like a nut bar, like like a cluster of nuts. It's got like a little bit of caramelly something through it, and then a
sugar.
Ooh. Yeah, sometimes it does happen. It can happen, but it's low GI, my friends.
You heard it here first, guys. JT's on that sugar train.
Put it in. Now, should I eat before training? If so, how long before?
We've spoken about it a bunch of times. Yes, you should, but you should have at least 2 hours following the meal so you can be digested and done with the food so that you can train properly.
Yes. Pre-comp morning brekkie, this person had expressed nerves and finding it hard to eat before comp.
I think maybe this is going to be different if you're competing really early in the day. Like if you're competing like, I don't know, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., something like that, you might want to reconsider my approach. But I just force down my normal breakfast as I would on any other day because I know that I'm usually not going to be competing till like mid-morning or afternoon, evening. So getting a meal in is super important because I'm going to be standing around this comp all day hungry otherwise.
Yeah, I would generally go lighter. Carbohydrates are easy to digest. Keep it carby. Don't go super heavy. If you're someone who gets really anxious, protein takes a lot to break down. So if you've got that sitting in your stomach and you're getting all like refluxy, that's probably not going to help. So just try to eat a healthy assortment of mix of a little bit of fat, a little bit of carbs, and only eat as much as you can. And then if you can only eat a bit, it's better than nothing.
Take snacks.
Take snacks. It's always good. Now, number 8. This is a tough one, guys, because like it just sounds like this person likes adversity.
Well, what do you think they're asking?
So they're saying, is it a good idea or can I be vegan on a keto diet and also do resistance training with my BJJ? Look, I think that's a tough ask. Can you do it? Yes, I'm sure you can. But what I know at least about keto, if you're doing it from a person who eats animal products perspective, it's hard because you haven't got a lot of energy, right? And ketosis itself is a challenging process within your body. It makes you fucking tired because you're breaking your body down. The other thing is too, and this is a misunderstanding, like people will supplement ketones into their diet to try and help with this process. But funnily enough, the research shows that putting ketones in your system doesn't help you with ketosis. So that whole idea of you paying heaps of money for flavored ketones that taste disgusting, don't do it. It's actually a waste of money. Research shows if you're trying to put yourself in ketosis, don't eat carbs. That's kind of how it works. I'm not sure how I would go about doing that. I think it's too hard.
Yeah, I agree. You can do whatever you want, right? You can make it work, but I think it's when you choose to go on a diet, like you choose to become vegan or you choose to go keto, you are opting to restrict certain foods, which instantly makes your nutritional habits much more challenging.
Yep.
So when you put two of those motherfuckers together, it becomes super duper challenging. And if you're the kind of person that can do that, great.
Yeah.
But for most people, I would never recommend it.
That's super tough. All right, good luck to you, by the way. Now, it says, number 9, vitamins and fish oil, are they good? Should I take them?
Generally, yes. People waste a lot of money on vitamins. It's maybe a topic for a larger discussion, but if you feel good taking it, great. Fish oil, from what I know, is a supplement worth taking. It's relatively inexpensive. The only tip I did pick up about fish oil is that fish oil it's an unsaturated fat. It should be refrigerated.
Right.
And often when we buy fish oil, you buy it it's off the shelf. It's been sitting there for ages, and then you leave it in your cupboard, and potentially it's gone rancid.
Goes bad, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the tricks there is, and this may be a little bit fucked up for some of you, is to check your fish oil is to like rip open the capsule and just taste it. And if it just tastes like fishy oil, then it's good. But if it tastes like fucked up fishy oil, it's not good.
Pro tip.
But you think about it, people will spend on that week after week
a lot of money.
for years.
Yeah.
I actually don't take fish oil anymore because I can't be fucked.
I go with sardines. I take the unpopular path, which is like get the fish. Oh god, people hate it. The smell is repulsive, but it's good for a
Ola
long
just
time.
checked in. She's like, I second that. It's repulsive.
She's like, you get those sardine cans out of here. You put them straight in the bin. Okay, so here's the deal. Can't eat after training because they feel sick when they do. Does the eating window thereafter matter? They're like, oh, do I eat after? Do I not eat after? Because they feel sick straight away.
I'll be honest, I really like to eat after training at night, even though it pushes my bedtime and everything later. It's a bit inconvenient. It feels important to me to get dinner in. But I know I've trained with people who will choose to have a really early dinner, like a 3:30, 4 o'clock dinner.
Yep.
Or 5, depending on when they come to jiu-jitsu. And then like maybe they just drink water after training and then go home and go to bed.
Yeah.
Or banana. And I think that's fine. Like it's whatever works for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing that I've changed... Oh, sorry. Toe stomp. Get out of my lane, son. The thing for me, if I'm trying to reduce my weight, I will try and have a big lunch. And if I train at night, post-workout, maybe a shake. And then maybe when I get home, a bit of yogurt. Just yogurt, maybe some subs, magnesium, go to bed. Like, try not to eat too big because I find it's easier for me to eat less at night than during the day. So it really depends on your goals. If you're not trying to lose weight, do your best to try to get some food in before you sleep.
But the other point there is, like, I can't eat after training. That's often because your nervous system is super upregulated.
Cool down.
Yeah, and so you don't have an appetite when you're in an upregulated nervous state. So the trick would be to find ways to downregulate, stretching, some breath work, even a hot bath, like just chilling out a bit, and then that'll allow you to downregulate, and then you'll notice your appetite comes back.
Yes, sir. Next step, number 11, collagen protein, is it worth it?
I would say yes. Relatively inexpensive, super abundant in the body. All of your connective tissue is made of collagen. If you're not getting it in through your diet, like you're not eating, bony, jointy pieces of animal and whatnot, and bone broths and that kind of thing, getting it in powdered form is probably the next best thing.
Yeah.
And we play a sport where the whole idea is to tear that tissue. So if you can drink a liquid version of that tissue, fucking 1 + 1 = 2 for me.
Nice. Now, creatine, is it good? And if so, should I cycle it on 6 to 8 week blocks? Separate question. Now, recently there was some research done about creatine showing that it actually has neurochemical assistance. So it can help people regulate mood, it can help people with their memory, it can also, when paired with antidepressants, can help them with their memory as well. So they're showing that creatine, yes, there's plenty of science to say, yes, it does work. There's a minimal downside. Can you get a bit of water retention? Yes, you can. It is a carbohydrate like monohydrate. So it's not really a question as to like, is creatine valid? It is valid. How you cycle it, and we get into this, really depends on the individual. Because some people process certain carbohydrate, protein, fat differently. So if digestively you find that you absorb it quite easily, it's not a problem, you almost don't even need to cycle it. It's just a matter of taking it regularly. Whereas for other people, they don't absorb it quite as well. It takes them longer to kind of get it in their system. So with the 6 to 8 week thing, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Maybe that's to do with your workouts.
I feel like that was more in the 90s, I think, before the food technology was what it is now.
Sure.
Creatine was much cruder.
Sure.
And you required a loading phase.
Right.
And that was associated also with a lot of water retention. And
Sure.
I think old school bodybuilding circles still consider that as a thing. From what I know, we now have creatine that's so finely processed that all of that doesn't matter.
Right.
You can just start taking it at a regular dosage and keep that, perpetually.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, it does. There's like a saturation point where it's like it takes a couple of days for you to kind of hit your peak level of whatever that might be. But don't worry about that too much. All I'd say is try and do a couple of weeks taking your creatine, and then have a week of not taking it and see how you feel, and kind of modify from there. Last but not least, how do I get my fiber in when I'm on a low carb diet?
What are low carb sources of fiber? We've got leafy greens.
Yep.
We've got, like supplemental powders like psyllium husk and slippery elm.
Sure.
I would say between those two, low carb, you should still be eating a fuckload of leafy green vegetables, which are super high in fiber, and it's also not going to, push you over in your carb intake.
I think people underestimate. People go, oh, that's got carbs in it, and it's like, compared to what, right? Like if you look at like a bunch of baby spinach, which has got it's so easy to eat compared to say kale or whatever else. It is so high in fiber, but compared to anything else, apart from its like vitamin and mineral content, if you ate a whole bag of baby spinach, it wouldn't push you into high carb territory, Even things like potatoes, now they are carbohydrate based, but they're only 40% carbs. They're not compared to other sources of carbohydrate, right? So it's important for you to actually go through and do a bit of research for yourself. There are many sources of fiber which actually don't contain that much carbs. So it's not as hard as it might seem. And also some seeds, so we might not be talking about grains like wheat or barley, but some seeds and also sprouts are a really good source of fiber and nutrition, but not much carbs going on. Cool. I think that's us, guys.
Guys, thank you for everyone who asked the questions, Instagram people, YouTube people. We hope that helps. If you guys need any more with this, if you want any more help with it, just throw it in the comments either on the YouTube post or the Instagram, and we'll help you guys next time we go live. Thank you.
Peace.